Welcome to Day 4, Episode 276, How to Set Yourself Up for Success in Business Today. Day 4 of 30 Days to Prosperity. If there's one truth I want you to absorb today, it's this. Your energy, clarity, and personal well-being are directly reflected in your brand and amplified through your message, your execution, and your brand story. Founders often come to me overwhelmed, exhausted, scattered, and stretched too thin. And without realizing it, the same scattered energy shows up everywhere, in their retail presentations, in their packaging, their team communication, in their forecasting, in their decision making, and the overall health of their business. If you are not at your best, your business will never operate at its best. Today is about setting yourself up for success by making you a priority. Not someday, not eventually, but right now. Because you cannot lead others if you're running on fumes. You cannot scale a brand when you're physically, mentally, and emotionally depleted. And you cannot compete with sophisticated brands when you're constantly operating in survival mode. Let's fix that. Start by reconnecting with your goals. We'll go deep into strategic goal setting tomorrow. But before we do, I want you to think about your goals in broad terms. What do you want most? What are you working toward? What matters enough to stay consistent with? What kind of leader do you want to be? Most founders I meet don't actually make themselves a priority. They allow life's distractions to pile up until they're buried beneath them. But here's the reality. If you're not grounded, focused, and confident, your brand cannot reach its potential. When you're depleted, you miss opportunities. You overreact to small problems. You struggle to see simple solutions. You make rushed decisions. Use the creativity that differentiates your brand. That's why today's episode is an invitation to pause, recess, and recalibrate. How stress impacts your ability to lead. Let me ask you, have you ever crammed for a major test, investor pitch, or retailer meeting? Have you ever stayed up late at night scrambling to pull a deck together? How did you feel in the room the next day? Were you calm? Were you focused? Were you operating at the level your brand deserved? Of course not. Stress narrows your vision. It compresses your creativity, and it blinds you to hidden opportunities. For me, when I feel overwhelmed or stuck, I go for a bike ride. That's my reset button. It centers me, clears my mind, it unlocks creativity, and it helps me see angles I missed before. Some of the best insights I've ever shared with my clients, and some of the most resonant stories I've ever told on stage, came after a bike ride. I stopped trying to force a solution, and the answer simply rose to the surface. What's your version of that? A walk, a meditative practice, a workout, music, journaling? You need something that gets you out of your head and into a place where clarity is possible. Your business plan reduces stress if you build it right. On day 1, I emphasized the value of a robust living business plan. It's not just a strategic tool, it's a mental health tool. When your business plan is strong, you stop reinventing the wheel every day. You stop reacting to chaos. You stop carrying everything in your head. You reduce uncertainty and overwhelm. You free up energy for creativity. A great infrastructure gives you peace of mind. A clear plan gives you permission to breathe. And that mental space is what allows you to innovate, differentiate, and lead with confidence. Your personal health is as important as your brand's health. They're connected. Why making yourself a priority makes your business stronger. Tim Ferriss once talked about focusing on the big things that actually move the needle. When he's clear on those things, the small tasks become irrelevant. Tony Robbins teaches the RPM method. Focus on results, purpose, and massive action instead of endless to-do lists. This is key. Most founders chase tasks, cross off checklists, try to keep up instead of lead, react instead of strategize. But when you shift your mindset to focus on results, you get more done in less time. You stay aligned with your mission. You avoid busy work. You see opportunities others miss. Here's the simple truth. You cannot do everything, and you shouldn't even try. So ask yourself, what high-impact work deserves my focus? Where should I delegate immediately? What tasks drain me but don't move the brand forward? What could someone else do better than me? Then ask one more question. How can I use AI to remove even more off my plate? AI cannot replace your creativity or storytelling, but it can replace repetitive, time-consuming, low-impact tasks. Use it to draft retailer forms, organize data, build models, automate reminders, streamline reporting. Use it to buy back time you can invest in the strategy, execution, and your well-being. A story about tools versus creativity. In early episodes, I talked about the limitations of what I call push-button category management. Early in my career, I helped build some of those templated reports that retailers still use today. The distribution trackers, the canned dashboards, the top-line summaries. They were never designed to differentiate the brand. They were designed to create efficiency. AI is the model equivalent. It's powerful, but it cannot do the thing that matters most. It cannot think creatively. It cannot understand your shopper the way you can. It cannot tell your brand story. Use AI to reduce mundane work. Use you to create the magic. That's how you win. Day 4 action item. Build your personal brand success system. Today I want you to do the following. 1. Identify your personal reset practice. What brings you clarity? Commit to doing that at least 3 times this week. 2. Write down your top 3 goals in broad terms. We'll refine them tomorrow. Just start with the big picture. Number 3. Identify one task you will delegate or automate this week. Freeing up time is step 1. Number 4. List 5 recurring tasks AI could take off your plate. Begin experimenting today. Number 5. Choose one high-impact activity that moves the brand forward and block time for it on your calendar, non-negotiable. Your brand can only rise as high as the leader behind it. Today, that leader is you. In closing, you deserve to lead from strength, not exhaustion. Your well-being isn't an afterthought. It isn't a luxury. It isn't optional. It's the foundation that everything else in your brand is built on. When you take care of yourself, you lead better. You think more clearly. You innovate more. You execute with confidence. You build momentum. You become the steady force in your team and your trusted partners. Tomorrow in episode 277, we'll go deep into strategic goal setting, how to define goals that are measurable, realistic, and aligned with your long-term vision, so every decision you make moves you forward toward your profitable, sustainable scale. Make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an episode. Share this series with a founder who needs this reminder today, and download the accompanying guide. You deserve to thrive. Your brand deserves a leader who operates with clarity and confidence, and I'm here to help you get there every step of the way. For additional inspiration, listen to the following podcast episodes. Episode 197, Maximize the Real Value of Your Brand Today, with Eric Skay of the Bricktown Group. In this episode, Eric talks about what it means to be a master sales leader. The point is that this is because of Eric's ability to step back and look at the problem from a 30,000-foot view, from the high level, and understand what really needs to be done and how to focus the energy of the brand to solve the problem. This is an excellent episode because Eric is one of the best brand builders out there, and he paints a great example of how you can leverage this to help you grow and scale your brand. Then listen to episode 101, The Most Important Customer in Your Business Strategy with Ted Ning with LOHAS. Discover the most important customer and how LOHAS consumers drive demand for authentic quality products. Ted discusses the LOHAS consumer, a psychographic group that prioritizes sustainability, health, and lifestyle choices. This group represents about 16 to 19% of the U.S. population, is highly educated, affluent, female, making them influential decision makers and advocates for products they believe in. Then listen to episode 66, a brand building coaching session with Marshall and Elliot Rader with a gluten-free bar. Actionable tactics and brand building strategies to help you go from survival to a strong growth model with explosive sales. The company emphasizes the importance of certified gluten-free products and consumer insights. They are a certified B company that prioritizes sustainability, community involvement, innovation, consumer satisfaction, employee-led initiatives. Tip of the day. Your energy and your persona are reflected in your brand and amplified through your messaging and your brand story. Set yourself up for success in business by making you a priority. Thank you for listening. This episode has an accompanying video with illustrations and additional information I can't share in an audio podcast. You can watch it at retailsolve.com/30day-challenge. You can get the show notes for this episode by going to retailsolve.com/session 276. Tomorrow's episode is how to develop strategic goals with accountability strategies. This episode will build on today's conversation. Thank you for listening. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.